a small amount of postage returned or expenses for copying, so.
Postage is going up on, as of January 1st, I believe.
Yeah, oh, is it? Yeah. Well, we hope that's enough, $200, but trying to keep the budget down, we just increased it $200.
I'm assuming that this is not a complete, you spent $308 so far in 211, so.
On postage?
On postage. So I'm assuming that not all the bids are in yet, all the bills are in yet.
We're down to about $36 in our postage line.
So it doesn't reflect on the expenses then?
Not
okay.
yet.
I don't believe
okay.
so.
All right.
Telephone, we did an analysis of the last, I think, 2 years and reduced the budget accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Travel, I think we reduced by 500. That may be at some risk. It just depends on how many places we have to travel or go to during the course of the year.
Okay.
Photocopying, that needs to be increased, 200. Insurance is the same. Under new equipment, we have had extensive meetings with the county IT company, Cybertron, and we have asked them to sharpen their pencils on an appropriate server, which has been a real condition for several years at the county attorney's office. We basically band-aided it this year. There was a computer that was donated with it's just a regular computer with a extensive hard drive that allowed us to further store images for cases. So we're currently operating under that. And the estimate that Cybertron came in is approximately, I think, $23.85, give or take what may need to be implemented in that. But to install that server and to reprogram everything, there'll be another $2,500 at least to do that per machine.
Didn't you just get a grant for some?
Yes, and that is under 98, the next one. We did receive, I haven't received the money yet, but we will be calling upon that for payment. And we have found a very competitive price for 5 new computers and salvaging the 2 current desktop servers, or I'm not sure what they call them. Desktops servers, so that I think basically we solicited various bids and we got that almost in half, so that hopefully we'll be able to obtain the 5 new computers that we need for the grant, at a cost of approximately, I think it's $3,000.
Our cost was $2,476. Melissa's cost was $600.
Right, and then there's an amount from.
So are you saying, Tom, that this comes out of the grant?
No, this actually is coming out of our operating budget.
Budget?
New equipment.
Okay.
And then there's small items out of the victim witness budget to supplement her computer.
Okay.
And she would ask permission for, I think, a few $100s to be transferred over so that we can make that purchase for her. And the rest of the IT line from last year's, until the commission and our department, I guess, can discuss how that's allocated. We kept it the same, the $8,500, which was allocated to the county attorney's office. We will need a maintenance amount for IT for our new program the year after next. The first year is free, but we had proposed to use some of the IT labor and part of the IT 13400 to put the server online and reprogram as part of that whole overall process. And then there's an unknown on what exact internet connection dedication will be necessary, and the cost of that, and that's currently still being bid out and explored, investigated. So that's an unknown amount, but we hope to keep that down, and we're working with everybody involved in the IT to see if we can come to a workable solution.
Okay, good.
And there's a note here on my version. I'm not sure that under the IT we may upgrade our copier for fax capabilities, because our fax machine is in need of, I think, review or replacement. So that may be available right under our existing system, which I verified with the copy company. That is, it's got a lot more life into it, so we're working on that to try and save that cost to the county as well. The last item is the extraditions, and I increased that by $500 as several times during the year. We did not have sufficient funds to extradite individuals across the country because they were outside of our
Budget?
jurisdiction that we had put on for the warrants. And typically our order is New England states only. And we did have one extradition from Florida, which cost us, I believe, $1,692. We were able to bring the person back for several felony level charges. And that's still ongoing, but there were judgments that had to be made due to budget constraints that we couldn't go get certain individuals. So just asking that be increased at least $500, so it's not so tight this year.
You mean to say if someone manages to get out of New England, they could go scot-free? Is that what you said?
I hope not. Well, I tried to discuss this before, but it's, we have, there has been a series of regulations and changes in probation and parole that require, when we set certain sentences in the court, with the court, that if somebody is from out of state and they have probation and they violate that and don't come back, or as you know, just are a fugitive, then we would have to go get them under the standing orders, which means that we would have to go get them no matter what. It isn't an option. So at times we have to make decisions whether or not we want to extradite or not, because they will call from Texas or California, but knowing full well that to pay the sheriff's department with their certifications and two-man requirements to fly, stay, eat, and transport will be several $1,000s. I don't have that in my budget. I'm not authorized to so I hate to put it on the table, but that is a reality that we face during the year, and I did bring that up in the spring, and so I would rather not do it. I also would welcome the opportunity for the legislature to address that concern, in that cost falls on the county. I would much rather have it fall on the defendant we're extraditing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So overall, from last year's budget,
Running away.
the budget is technically down. There is the wild card, I'll call it, the civil commitment that we just don't know from year to year. There's also the unlikely, but could happen, there could be two of those cases going at once, in which case we would not have the personnel to manage that case, and that's a further reason for that statute to be re-reviewed by the legislature.
Go for it.
Okay.
Did you want to hear from the victim witness?
Yep. You don't have any income, right? No revenue generated by the county attorney?
Well, I guess we were successful, Commissioner, in I guess enforcing a lien that returned some money to the county nursing home
That's
of
true.
almost $60,000 or $59,000. We no, we don't have such as the sheriff's department or anything like that, but our job is to put them in jail and keep them there, and
Okay.
those who should be
Costs
there,
us money that way. All right.
and you'll have further costs.
Okay. Victim witnessing.
Do you have my?
I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
Before you leave, what's the percent increase for paralegal, and what is the percent increase part-time for the attorney's budget? What figures were you using?
I don't have the percentage. Do you?
I do.
For part-time, percent increase was 5.87.
5.87?
And for paralegal, it's 5.04.
And Commissioner, those were proposed based upon industry standard and similar salaries. The particular individual who was shared between the victim witness advocate and my office does an outstanding job and has, received advancement education and certifications to assist us in the processing of very technical cases. She's actually at a seminar today. They are, frankly, her salary is below what is expected of that particular job title in our office, as well as the office administrator as well,
Okay.
and the victim witness's position.
Okay, thank you. All right. Melissa?
So we should just go line by line?
What's that?
Should we just go down line by line?
Sure.
Okay. The part-time person, he tells me what figure to use for that, so that's how I got there. My salary, this is the amount that I had requested last year when the delegation said, come back next year.
Okay.
So that hasn't changed. A lot of those numbers are driven by the salary. The rest of, well, we'll just go line by line. The medical insurance is down only because of the change in the county policy, not the change in who's receiving what.
Okay.
Retirement is down, I don't know why. Plugging in the numbers that Kathy gives me.
Yeah. Go right down to education conference.
Okay. Education and conferences stays the same.
And you only spent $319. Is
Right.
that the correct figure? Or we have
Well,
more?
no, it'll be more by the end of the year.
Okay.
That's all grant money.
Okay.
So I try to zero it out at the end of every year, so I don't
Okay.
lose that grant money.
Okay.
Medicare, auditing, other fees and services is generally the same. I let Betsy sort of control that line item for me. That's where my portion of, say, the postage for the county attorney, I use a bunch of postage.
Mm-hmm.
So Betsy sort of spends that money for me as when it's my turn to pay for the copier or that kind of stuff. Office supplies, this year, this is where a portion of my computer is going to come out of. Office equipment, same thing. The increase in the telephone is, I'd like the county to consider paying my monthly cell phone, not the total bill, but the flat fee for my cell phone. I use that.
Is that issued by the county, or is that your private?
It's mine.
It's your
And
private one?
yeah, Karen, when Karen had this position, she had one that was issued by the county, and
Mm-hmm.
I just sort of already had one when I stepped in 6 years ago, and
Yeah.
it's just become a real work phone, not so much a phone that I use for my personal use.
How can we keep track of personal use versus